Welcome back, children, to the world of pandas. We are here with the concluding session of series. Remember, as we conclude, this pandas object which we create, that is our DF1, DF2, etc., are also called as objects. So, sometimes in the question papers or in the revision schedule time, I might use the word object. So, do not confuse, that is nothing but the series name which you created. That name is up to you how you wanted to give. Any name can be given, provided should not have a space in between as we give other variable names for your list, dictionaries, etc. So, that is why I have given here the statement like that. We can call pandas variable as object. You need not copy these two sentences into your notebook. It is just for the reference. Now, in the last session, I had given two assignments. I hope you have finished that and ready with checking process. Since it is the first time we are dealing with the pandas, I am trying to give these answers. Two assignments answers will be discussed here. After that, whenever I give the assignments, it will be like the normal procedure as we give, and then using our WhatsApp group, we can check whether your answers are right or wrong. These two definitely I am going to check, or I am going to explain over here. The first question was, write a code to find the first 3 top marks and 3 least scoring marks from the above pandas objects of DF1. That means in that last session we had created a object called as DF1. From that we have to find the first 3 top marks. Since that session is over, I have already created once again the same thing over here. You can see marks and sub. Creation is done. You understood why we are having NumPy, isn't it? It's because we are using np.float. If this was not there, or if I am not specifying this data type here, then by default the object type is object itself, that is DF2 is object itself. Then we need not write import NumPy as np here. What I did is, clearly after printing, that is only for the purpose of showing the answers once again, the original series or the object. After that I sorted. I hope you also did the same way. After sorting, again this is not very much required as per the question, but I have shown the sorted list once again. So, sort 1 becomes the next object. The first object is your DF2, the second object is your sort 1. Now, when you are sorting as ascending equal to false, you know the sorting will become in what manner? It will become in the descending manner. So, the topmost mark will come on the top, isn't it? Or in the section of the index, if I say from the 0th location onwards, the topmost mark will come. So, that topmost mark, if I want to retrieve, I need to just give the name of the object sort1, and remember we learned a function called as head, which can fetch the number of rows or number of values from the corresponding object which we created. So, if I give 3, the first 3 top marks from your list sort1, I am sorry, from your object I have to say, from your object sort1 is created. That will be printed. Similarly, if I give lowest 3 marks, very clearly this will take the last 3 marks from our sorted list. Just because I had given here sort values and I have sorted in your descending order, I am able to do this way. If you are doing in the ascending manner, this goes the opposite. So, I want everybody to go through this program once again properly, assess yourself whether you have understood anything, any explanation required. Once you receive this session and go through this, then get back to me, we will be dealing with this once again. But make sure these are the kind of questions which you can expect from pandas. After learning all the functions, how you can effectively use these functions in the programs. Then when you effectively use it, then you become an expert in this category, just like the way we learned our NumPy and dictionaries, etc. Only by learning, retrying and relearning you can become an expert. So remember, just understanding this here won't work. I am just putting a glance through some other functions also, because we are about to conclude this. So I just want you to know that the NumPy functions which we have learned, the similar functions are found in pandas also. So yesterday, that means in the last session, we had learned vectorized operation, that means plus, minus, into, all those things can be used which we told. The same operations can be done with some built-in functions also, that is our sum, your multiply, your division, your remainder, all these functions are available in our pandas. So one such is given over here. That means suppose after finding out the sorted list over here, if I wanted to find the sum, I can find the sum with the help of sort1.sum. Again, this is object name dot sum, just like the way we use in our NumPy, the particular the NumPy series which you create with the dot you do, same way you can access this. And I have also done something called as finding the average. For that, I can have a function called as mean. You know there is a mean function. Now, exactly that way you can use, or I can also find out the size of your object, sort1.size, that I can assign it to a variable. So here the size is, you can check out here 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that 7 will be stored to your S, and if I write the same thing, sort1.sum divided by S, you know why these two divisions are here very clearly, you will get your average marks. You can also do the same thing with mean function, which you have seen in your NumPy. Similar to that, you can try, instead of writing this statement, sort1.mean will work. Now, these two are familiar. There is one more. That is not that, it's a unique from the pandas family. That means, if you want to remove a data value, say for example, in our case, one data value called as ln is there. That ln, if you want to remove, see how I have used here. I don't have to actually store, I can directly give it in print, but I have stored it inside a variable called as new df. That means from our sort one, the ln will be dropped. That means that corresponding index ln with its data value will be dropped, and the new object new df will be printing all the other values except the values with ln. That means ln is 99, correct? No? Yes. So ln 99 will not be there inside this df, not df, that is our new df, and then you can see in the new df except ln all other corresponding data values. So remember, it is case sensitive. That means if you have used the index with ln as capital, here also we are expecting to use ln as capital. Otherwise, there is always an error. Keep all these things in mind when you do such functions. So if you have sort1.sum, you can have sort1.multiply, etc., etc. All those things are provided very clearly with one more set of functions. Next small example. I am not providing the output here because now you should be able to guess the output. Okay. So see, now you have your list called as pop. pd.series is created with the list, and you know index is missing. So what would be the index? 0, 1, 2, 3, isn't it? That goes on. So the 0th location has 16, the first location has 6, the 9 will go to the second location, and so on. And then I am just printing the sort. That's the name of my object here. Now you know if I write this, what will be the answer? Definitely 16. If I do so dot mode of 2, what is mode? Finding out the remainder. So if I do this, it will be 16 by 2, it will be showing the output or the answer of 16 by 2, 6 by 2, 9 by 2, 5 by 2 and 8 by 2 respectively. Add the entire elements, each element will be adding with 5. So I can also write SOR plus 5 or I can also use this one, SOR dot add of 5. Both will do the same operation. So arguments help us to identify with what I have to add. So 16 plus 5, 6 plus 5, 9 plus 5, 5 plus 5 and 8 plus 5 will come. Multiply similar to that. Each element is here, each element are able to identify with the help of the name of the object itself. We need not specify SOR of 0, SOR of 1, SOR of 2. So that is one good advantage here. So SOR dot multiply 3. Then comes what I was talking earlier, SOR dot mean. That is, instead of writing the average properly, you can write this also. Now a unique function. Max will give the data. That means 16 will be printed. Okay. And 16 is in which location? 0th location. If you write IDX max, that is a short form of index max. This particular function will give you the index of or index value of the data which is highest here. That means here the highest is 16 and its index is 0. So the answer will be 0. So understand, among this for you, the newcomer is IDX max. All other functions are known to you. And of course, drop is also a unique function in your Panda series. So you go through all these things, try out every functions with another set of values and let me know whether you are getting the same answer as we are discussing over here. So as a note, of course, this has to be there in your notebook. We can use arithmetic operator, all these things, or the built-in function which you just saw, that is our add, multiply. I have not used here difference or divide and all, but there are functions like that. So you try it out and see. All these things the same way as we have used our NumPy functions. Same functions are there. So no need to worry about how to use it. Again, if there is any minor doubt in this section, let's see when we discuss the assignment section of your Panda series. Now, after assignment 2, I had given one more assignment. After assignment 1, I had given one more assignment, that was to create a Panda object with 5 states as index and its populations as data and find the states with population more than 1 lakh. There I had given the clue in the last session that we have to use our Boolean indexing style and the answer is over here. After creating this, you need to understand very clearly when the question is given. Sometimes question very clearly specify that 5 states as index. So you know index has to be states and its population as data. Every time they may not specify very clearly which is index and which is data. But in the question somewhere it will be hidden or that meaning will be lying somewhere, which you have to read and find out that which is index and which is your data. So very carefully read the question and then proceed. So here there is no confusion. So created your object SOR and then to find the states with population more than 1 lakh. No if condition, nothing required. One statement there I have given in the index, that is in our subscript section, the condition. SOR, where that is the name of your object, is going to extract the values from SOR itself, data values from SOR itself, which is greater than 1 lakh. So the answer will be clearly giving this Kerala state's population and Goa's population, and all the other 3 is not satisfying the condition, so it won't be printed. So I hope it's very clear to you. Now I have 2 questions for you. Read it clearly, one by one, very clearly read it. I'm not going to give an answer over here. As you can see, no answer is here. This is our last 2 questions, but this requires your logical ability as well as the understanding of all the function or understanding process of all the function which we learned right now. The first one is comparatively simple. Create 3 series objects. So, how many object has to be created? 3. Which stores the marks of 10 students in 3 terms. I have given here once again to understand properly name as index and mark as data. Otherwise, if it is not given, it is your duty to understand how the index and how the data is set. But here it is very clear. Calculate the total weightage of marks obtained by students as per the following formula. Formula is given. So, term 1, term 2, term 3 is 25% is taken and that becomes your final weightage. So, go through this, create 3 series object. I hope you are getting the meaning of the term 1, term 2, term 3. If not, a clue is that term 1, term 2, term 3, that 3 different series are the one with which you have to create our objects. Now comes the last. Question is bit lengthy, but that much of confusion won't be there when you try it out. Write a program that stores the sales of 5 fast moving objects or fast moving items of a store for 6 months in a series. Okay, or in series, that is, the first object creates the sales of those 5 items in first month. So, item can be given as your index very clearly. See, item name as index I have given here again, and the first series which you create should be the sales made by the first, the 5 items in the first month. So, sales will be your data. Like that, you have to create 6 different objects. See, read it. I hope you are able to understand. S1 series object stores the sales of these 5 items in first month. S2 stores sales of these 5 items in the second month, and so on. You can have item name as index and sales made, that is in numerical, that is your sales made is how many number of items were sold in that 1 month, that is your data. Now, what does your program is demanding from you? See, the program should display the summary sales report like this. First, total yearly sales, item wise. Sorry, just made a small mistake over there. Okay, total yearly sales, I should be writing, yes, item wise. That means you have to add all these 6 months items sales, and you should display the sum of items of all these months. Okay, item sales over these months. Then the highest sales made, which item has made the highest sales from the total yearly sales. So, out of the 6 months, you calculate of course the total sales of the 6 months here and show item wise sales, and then show which item has made the maximum sales. After that, show from your original series of your S1 which item has made the maximum sales. Understand, this is the total sales made in the year, that means yearly sales, 6 months sales is taken. Understood? No. This one, for the first series, which item has made the highest, second series, which item has made the highest, third series, which item has made the highest sale, like that go on. So, this gives you an idea whether you are going to use your functions, your mathematical functions of course, effectively in your program or not. So, now we have come to a conclusion of series. The next session we will introduce data frame, that means how to create a 2-dimensional array effect using your pandas. So, one-dimensional effect is called your series, and your 2-dimensional creation effect is called your data frame. Thank you.